The Big Brother 27 Week 10 Power of Veto competition has been played, and its winner has the potential to destroy head of household, HOH, Vince Panaro's plans. Vince nominated Ava Pearl, Kelley Jorgensen, and Keanu Soto for eviction, with Ava as his target. However, his Judges Alliance members, Morgan Pope and Ashley Hollis, along with Keanu, wanted him to nominate Lauren Domingue. Vince has a final two with Lauren, but he considered nominating her, and he even spoke to her about it. When she told him that she didn't want to go on the chopping block, and she'd hold it against him, he decided not to do it. However, Morgan was very angry with Vince for choosing Lauren over her again. The Big Brother 27 live feeds revealed that Morgan won the Week 10 Power of Veto competition for the third week in a row. The players were HOH Vince, nominees Ava, Kelley, and Keanu, and Lauren and Morgan. Only Ashley didn't play. Before the competition played out, Morgan said that she intended to use the veto to save Ava from the chopping block. However, Ashley told her that she was worried that she'd be the replacement nominee. Morgan assured her that she'd talked to Vince to ensure that Lauren went up in Ava's place. Before the veto competition, Keanu told Ashley that everyone had to try to win the veto to keep Lauren from winning. However, Lauren overheard him. When she spoke to Vince about it, he didn't promise to nominate Ashley instead of her. Knowing that Vince has chosen Lauren over the judges in the past, including during the White Locust Resort twist which led to evicted judge member Reilly's elimination, it would be very risky for Morgan to use the power of veto. If Vince nominates Ashley instead of Lauren, there's a good chance that she could be evicted, which would decimate the judges because they've already lost Rachel and Will Williams, and this would surely cause a rift between Morgan and Vince. Morgan would be better off allowing the BB blockbuster to play out, and evicting either Ava, Kelley, or Keanu from the game. None of them are her allies, so it doesn't matter which of them leaves when it comes to her game, and she'd also keep things civil with Vince by not forcing him to name a replacement nominee. If Ashley leaves the game, Vince would be her only remaining ally, and he's not reliable. Morgan has the potential to destroy Vince's HOH plans if she uses the power of veto to save Ava. Not only would she be keeping his target safe, but she'd force him to turn on either his final two ally, Lauren, or his fellow Judges Alliance member, Ashley. She'd be putting him in a very difficult position if she used the power of veto, but she might not care after she felt that he chose Lauren over her. In addition, the house guests don't know it yet, but Thursday is a double eviction. Vince has made so many enemies in the game during his current HOH reign, and having to nominate Ashley or Lauren will possibly burn another bridge for him. He'll be especially vulnerable because he's ineligible to play for HOH, so it's highly possible that he could be evicted next. By winning the Big Brother 27 Week 10 Power of Veto competition, Morgan holds Vince's fate in her hands. However, Veto Day in the Big Brother house delivered some much-needed excitement after a few calm days. We were nearly there on the maximum opportunity for drama, but while we didn't get that, we did get probably the next biggest thing. Now we've got to see what happens come Monday. All but one HG would be in the veto comp, and if Ashley had the chance to win the veto, then she could have forced a renom pick by Vince between Morgan and Lauren. We got close, but Keanu picked Morgan instead of Ashley. Go figure on selecting the current veto comp beast when his own safety was on the line, but he did, and sure enough Morgan won it. Morgan's veto win, her third straight POV victory, set us up for a face-off with Vince over whether or not he'd be willing to risk his goat and put Lauren on the block, or would he yet again between Morgan and send Ashley. The debate lasted deep into the night and is likely not over, because once those beers were off he may no longer want to keep the deal he made. Find out what else happened on Saturday and get caught up for the rest of the weekend. It's only been a week since the Big Brother 27 jury began. But for fans, it's felt like months. First, there was Reilly's incredibly controversial elimination by the White Locust twist. Then, Clifton Will Williams found himself a sitting duck when the vote flipped to evict one of the biggest jury threats. With the Judges Alliance in tatters, Vince Panaro torn between multiple allies, and the BB blockbuster still in play, there's a lot to set up for this week's double eviction. Here's everything you need to know about this week on Big Brother 27, including head of household and veto winners, nominees, and who is likely to go. Zingbot showed up to make his annual roast of the house guests. But it was Vince who ultimately had the last laugh, winning his third hoe of the season. However, the Big Brother 27-week 10 head of household, HOH, Vince Panaro sent shockwaves through the house with his nominations, as he finally chose a side. Vince won his third HOH competition after Will Williams was evicted from the game by a vote of 3-2 over Ashley Hollis. Vince has been playing all sides of the house, as he's a member of the Judges Alliance. Vince, Ashley, Morgan Pope and the now evicted Will and Rachel Reilly, has a Final Two alliance with Lauren Domingue, and has been working closely with Keanu Soto. Vince also once had a Final Two deal with Kelley Jorgensen, but that has since fizzled out. The Big Brother 27 live feeds revealed that Vince nominated Keanu, Kelley, and Ava Pearl for eviction, with Ava as his target. This decision came after Morgan tried to convince him to nominate Lauren for eviction in order to keep what's left of the Judges Alliance safe. However, when Vince approached Lauren with the idea of nominating her, she persuaded him not to do it. After the power of veto ceremony, Morgan was livid at Vince for choosing Lauren over her again. While speaking to the cameras alone in the HOH room, Vince expressed that he regretted his decision. In the meantime, Morgan and Ashley spoke to each other and vowed to vote out Lauren if Vince named her as the replacement nominee if the power of veto is used. However, it seems more likely that Vince will nominate Ashley if that happens. During the Big Brother 27-week 10 HOH competition, Zingbot returned to insult the house guests. Morgan Zing referenced her very close relationship with Vince, which is very touchy-feely, despite the fact that he has a girlfriend of 7 years. Zingbot called Morgan his girlfriend, which made her worry that Vince's actual girlfriend would hate her. However, Vince assured her that she'd probably think it was funny. Morgan obviously felt very uncomfortable about the zing, and now she's also outraged that Vince chose Lauren over her again. During the White Locust Resort twist, Morgan begged Vince to pick her and not Lauren to go second in the competition, but he didn't listen, and this led to Rachel's elimination and Lauren becoming the HOH for the week. Morgan was upset that Vince put Lauren before her, but she doesn't know that he has a Final Two with Lauren. Morgan now seems ready to turn on Vince, which could be a disaster for him because Thursday night is a double eviction. As the outgoing HOH, Vince will be especially vulnerable because he'll be ineligible to play in the next HOH competition. It's highly possible that Vince's allies are tired of him betraying them, and that they'll try to evict him. Keanu nominated Vince 2 weeks ago when he was HOH for this exact issue, so it's easy to imagine that he'll do it again if he survives the chopping block. It seems that Morgan and Ashley have had enough of Vince betraying them for Lauren. If they succeed in convincing him to use Lauren as the replacement nominee and then vote her out, they'll have significantly weakened Vince. If they team up with Keanu and Kelley, they can evict Vince during the double eviction as long as he doesn't win the power of veto. Vince has played a very sloppy Big Brother game, making and breaking too many promises to too many people. It seems that this is the final straw for Morgan when it comes to Vince. If she turns on him, he might not be able to survive in the game much longer because he won't have the numbers. By not nominating Lauren, Vince might have just ended his Big Brother 27 game. However, we are close to the end now of day 67 within the Big Brother 27 house, so what exactly have we seen transpire at this point? Certainly, there has been a ton of drama, and a lot of it is Vince's own doing as head of household. Advertisement. After all, this is where we will start by noting that he could have just made some easy choices as head of household. However, he is the one who actively decided that he did not want to do that. Instead, he opted to go ahead and nominate Ava, Kelley, and Keanu after spending almost 24 hours going back and forth about it. Morgan and Ashley both pushed him desperately to go after Lauren and he didn't want to do it. He tried convincing Lauren to go up, but she wasn't having it. Now, we are in a spot where Lauren is not on the block and conceivably, could decide to use the power of veto in the event that she wins it. If that happens, she would force Vince to have to nominate one of the other judges, and that would most likely be Ashley. The real entertaining scenario here is if Ashley wins the veto and uses it. From there, he would have to actually pick between Morgan and Lauren and there would be a lot of chaos that comes with that, as well. We recognize that Ava is probably Vince's target, but at the same time, we tend to think the House would get rid of either of his other two nominees first. They effectively have no real reason to want to keep either Kelley or Keanu around, mostly from a competition standpoint if nothing else. Be sure to share right now in the attached comments. Once you do just that, remember to come back, there are more updates ahead.